The Red Mercury Legend, Recipe, and Zerum 525. We now enter the dark and murky world of late 20th century nuclear weapons research, a world with its own highly suggestive connection to the bell. For precisely such a breakthrough in conventional explosives is alleged for the mysterious compound red mercury. It is therefore worth recounting its legend, the recipe for its confection, and their possible relationship to the bell's mysterious Zerum 525. That's from the SS Brotherhood of the Bell, the Nazis' Incredible Secret Technology by Joseph P. Farrell. It's an Adventures Unlimited press book. Hello and welcome to another edition of the Stench of Truth. I told you in my last video that our voice was heard, and indeed it was. It was. And the sad fact of the matter was that the voice, as it amounted to the crescendo that it reached, was not sufficient to dislodge the incredible stranglehold that corporations have over our elected bodies in this country. And it also revealed to me that we still have a long way to go, my friends. Just look at some of the comments that were left on my last video regarding how it's a good thing that this bill passed, and still praising Obama. And, you know, if these people are trolls, that's one thing. If instead they sincerely believe that this health care bill is something that's going to be good for them over the long term, it's really sad. It's really sad that there are people out there who are not with it enough to realize the shell game that's going on in society. How can we educate people who are willfully stupid, who just do not want to get it, who may even get it subconsciously but still act out the same fucking mantra in their minds? You know, people criticize me on my last video because I was adamantly opposed to this fucking bill and saying that it was a disaster for this country. And the best that they could do was to say that I was like some kind of right-winger. When if you watched more than one of my fucking videos, you'd know that that's the last thing that anybody could claim I was. Like there's no other choice. Like the Democrats are going to give you the ultimate so-called left-wing, so-called socialist, so-called whatever you want to call it, whatever ism or fucking word you want to invent, that the Democrats are going to give you that served up on a plate. And the only other fucking alternative is what the other assholes over there are offering. That's the only thing they could say. They couldn't point to something they liked about it. All they could do was call me a right-wing wacko. And that tells me that there are still people who are embroiled in this idea that our only options are asshole A and asshole B. That is, the Republicans and the Democrats. And that the policies that are offered by both of them, even though both of those policies may look different on the surface, both of them serve the same basic principle, and that is that they are for the betterment of corporations, Wall Street, and finance oligarchs, and not for the benefit of you. Both of them will throw bones in. A little tidbit for you to chew on. But the end result is you getting screwed more and corporations making more fucking money on the backs of you and your family and your friends. All while the middle class burns to the fucking ground and this entire country is razed. So, how do you educate people? Well, obviously you have to try to do it in a positive fashion. You have to try to put it in terms that they'll understand. because we need more people to add to the voice of dissent. And that's why I support the national strike on April 15th to the 18th. You might want to see CV 1122 for that one. I support that wholeheartedly. I also support civil disobedience, and I also support non-compliance. Any type of activity that you engage in with the federal government, and even the states, if they're not doing anything to help you, you do the absolute minimum that is necessary. Withhold information and do not comply where there is a penalty that you're willing to risk. Okay? And protesting. Absolutely. We need more protesters. We need protests like they have in Greece, where there are 60 or 80,000 people. That's what I would like to see. But bring your best game. And I know you're going to be infiltrated by provocateurs. You probably already have them as your fucking members of your group. But police your fucking ranks. The last thing you want when you're out there trying to portray a political fucking message is to call someone a nigger or a faggot. You want to know why? Because you might feel good about doing that because you're throwing a little bit mud at somebody you don't like. But the only thing they're going to talk about on the news is you calling someone a nigger or a faggot. I don't care if you like blacks, hate blacks. Like gays, hate gays. Doesn't make any difference to me. Your life is your own. But you know what? If you're out there protesting and you're trying to shed light on a fucking issue, it's not about you. So if the people who are doing this are provocateurs, if you can identify them, you need to weed them out. If you want to have any kind of political clout, your entire group could be racist right down to the core. It wouldn't mean a thing to me. If that's what you want to believe and that's the path you want to follow. But you know what? If you go out like the KKK, calling everybody nigger and blaming everything on them and whatever else other group you might want to choose, the only thing that's going to make it into the news is that you're racist. The issue you're trying to bring up will be completely ignored in the media. And the same goes for violence, smashing windows, and death threats. All of them are counterproductive. Do you understand? We have not yet reached the point where you have the ability to lash out in that fashion. So educate people, because there are still a lot of people who are trapped in that paradigm, whether willfully or unwillfully. And if you're going to protest, for God's sake, police your fucking people. Get the message out without giving the media any little fucking excuse that they can use to silence your fucking message. And if you've already been infiltrated, you better do some policing of your people. And watch out for provocateurs, because they're going to be waiting. Anytime you have a group organizing, I guarantee you, the government already knows about it. And if you got more than like 5 members, and you got a little bit of somebody's ear, you get a little bit of media attention, they're already looking at you. And once you get up to a certain threshold, you can guarantee they got informers in there. So you got to police yourself. Stay focused on the issues and don't get bogged down in all this bullshit. There's a long way to go, and we have a lot to fight. So bring your best fucking game every day, and do not stop, do not quit, and stay fucking focused. That's my message to you. Thank you. Good night.